So quickly, like Alan is facing how to rotate something to make a quick animation in Photoshop. So I made a quick little, brown bar to show that it can be moved around and whatnot. So if you create a timeline animation, you have, you've done that in assignment number, I believe 9 with a rain. But you have basically in your layer here, you have basically a position, opacity, and style. So all you can do here with a regular layer is you can do a position. So you can start right here. You go, you put your little, you start your little stopwatch right here. This is your first position. You move your scrubber, and then you just drag it out right there. And then this is your animation right there, right? So that's the only thing you can do with Photoshop. So another thing is you can always move it down as well, right? So it goes from here to here, but you cannot rotate an object unless you create, I'm going to make another one just for fun. This time I'm going to make a square, and I'm going to make it a different color just for you, Alan. I'm going to make it a different color. So here's my orange square, and how can I rotate that guy, right? To do a full 360. So what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to do this, do a quick little selection right here. And I'm going to transform the selection right here, and I'm going to put it at 45-degree angle like this, right there. And I'm going to delete that. So now I have, I have an object that has a hole in it, basically. So we can see how we can rotate it. So again, same thing, right? On this layer, you only have the position and the opacity, right? Unless I right-click on my layer right here, and then I convert to a smart object. By converting to a smart object, suddenly I have a few more options in there. So instead of having a position, I have a transform. And transform allows me to, for example, first marker of transform right here. This is my shape right there. I move my scrubber again, right? So I'll move this guy out of the way, but I'm just focusing on the orange square, and I'm going to go Command T, which is free transform, and I can just scale it, for example. The other ones doesn't work, so I can do this, for example. That's number one. I can, I'm going to delete that guy right now. So this is the beginning of it, but the other way around is you can do this. You can do a rotate, and then it rotates just a quarter of a turn. And if you want to keep on going, as I said, for the full 360, you keep going, right? So here you go 180, and then you accept that, and then you move it further down, and you rotate it 180 again. And now we have a full rotation. So it has to be a full rotation. Otherwise, if you do a full 360, the timeline won't recognize that you actually rotated it, because it comes back to the exact same position as your first time marker, basically, right? So if I scrub all of those again, right, get rid of all of that stuff, right? Get rid of all that, and I go. So this is my start position right there. I'm going to hide the rectangle. So this is my start position right here. And I'm going to go all the way down here, and I'm going to go a full 360. So I'm going to go, rotate 180 and then all the way back down, right? Well, it didn't work. It didn't show any difference, right? Any modifications. As you can see, it didn't even make a new marker. Whereas if I go right here and I go 180, accept that, now it shows me a little marker, and then it goes from 0 to 180. And then again, I would have to rotate it again to do the second half. Otherwise, it won't do it. So that's how you rotate an object in animation, in timeline animation. Your particular logo that was where the letters were appearing, what you can do for something like this, I'm just going to create a new layer quickly. And I want to type Corkscrew, that was the name of your company. If you want to have that appearing one letter at a time, well, you'd have to, place each letter on a different layer for every single one. What you can do actually for something, so if you want to have the letters to appear, not scroll like this, but literally having just the letter appearing one after another. What you do is you create a mask, right, in your layer. You create a mask, and then you mask, let's say, this big block right there. I'm just going to move it slightly there, and then just fill it with black. And now I have my mask right there. So my mask can be separated, can be disassociated or unlocked from the letters, right? So if I move now just the mask around, this is what happens, right? If I move my mask around, this is what happens. So this is exactly what you're going to do for the same thing. Oh, it's not long enough. It's not long enough. I'm going to make it a little longer. There you go. So here, there's your first frame where there's nothing appearing, and what that does, as soon as you create a mask within your timeline in animation right here, you have your transform, because it's a type is considered as a smart object. So you have your transform, your opacity, and your style for the type, and then you have your layer mask position, your enable, and then the text wrap as well. So all of that, so you have suddenly a layer mask option position, right? So you start, again, you start your scrub, you start your stopwatch in your scrubber right here, you move it from here to here, right, to the very end, and then I use my move tool again, and then I just move the whole thing completely out of the way, and that will reveal it. So you have a start and a finish marker, and this is what it does. So you could have, within that, you have your logo spinning. Oh, it's overlapping each other. And then type is appearing. And it's done in literally 1.5 minutes. So what you've done, Alan, was probably done like frame by frame, and you appear them one after another after another.
Yep.
But it's probably like a frame animation instead of timeline animation, and timeline animation is the quickest thing. You just move one object, right, or one mask, or you just rotate it, and and it's super quick and super easy, right? I make it sound super quick and easy, but it kind of is in a way. You can do this as well. You know what? We're going to do this actually. There you go. So if you start your object smaller like this, down in the corner, and then you move it over, and then you can scale it up and rotate it. So there's multiple things you can do, right? Just like that. Corkscrew animation, just like that. And then the second half of that rotation is a little quicker, so suddenly it spins a little faster, simply because my my markers there are a little tighter from one another, so I just need to move those down and put this one about there you go, 215. It's right in the middle. There you go. And then there you go. Now it's all same speed. So an animation of a logo is fairly easy. There are some animations out there with the logo that writes itself, if it's a script font, and that's done through another software altogether. So Photoshop cannot do that, because that would be just way too complex to actually have a mask to reveal the type, etc., etc. So that goes through an animation program where the object is treated differently. But see that. So this is the quickest thing, right? And from there you can export it as a GIF, as an MP4, etc., etc. Right? Hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. No, I forgot. I mean, because we did the exercise in Photoshop doing the animation before, but I forgot about that little timeline, like down below there. Yeah. In Photoshop.
Yeah, your logo being in, as I said, you have the icon and you have the word. You would have to have that in 2 layers, and because it's a vector file to start with from Illustrator, that's easy. You just literally copy that shape in Illustrator or that object, and then paste it into Photoshop, and that's right away. It's a smart object. So that saves you that extra step that I had to show because I started with nothing.
Right.
So, yeah, so that would be the quickest, easiest thing to do. So yeah, so book around, try it.
Yeah, I will. Thanks.